Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Tuesday, the 15th of December 2020, and we're continuing with price predictions for gold and silver. Today we're looking at an article which argues that silver will do well in 2021 and could average around $30 an ounce for the full year. So let's take a look. Now, before we address silver, just a very quick shout out and reminder that yesterday we published a video entitled Gold Price Forecast 2021, Goldman Sachs versus Capital Economics, where the two organizations put forward their arguments for $1,900 gold by Capital Economics and $2,300 gold by Goldman Sachs for 2021. Now today we're looking at an article published by investingnews.com which has produced a fair analysis of where certain companies lie with regard to their silver price prediction. So let's go over to the article and have a look. Investing News article, investingnews.com, dated December 14th by Georgia Williams. Headline: Silver Outlook 2021. Market trends point to price positivity. The 2020 silver market was resoundingly resilient in the face of many challenges. While COVID-19 bore down on most commodities, silver displayed its best performance in a decade. From its lowest to highest point this year, silver climbed an impressive 137%. That's compared to gold's increase of 38% over the same time horizon. The white metal also reached a 7-year high in August, trading for $28.32 per ounce after sinking to an 11-year low of $11.59. The comeback highlights silver's ability to outperform gold. Now, holding in the $23 price range, analysts and sector participants are optimistic that the precious metal will continue its price gain and outshine its sister metal gold. Quote, once the gold rally resumes, tactical buying will help fuel further price gains for silver, unquote. Neil Meader, Director of Gold and Silver at Metals Focus, wrote in a recent report, quote, this should help silver outperform gold, which we believe will see the gold to silver ratio to continue to fall during 2021, unquote. One factor that may contribute to higher prices in 2021 is the impact of COVID-19 related closures this past year. Lockdown measures in key silver-producing countries are likely to affect mine supply tallies from this year, which could spur price growth. The impact of COVID-19 on silver supply has been the same as for gold, only more pronounced because mined silver supply is much more concentrated in the major producing countries, noted Adam Webb. Webb, who is Director of Mine Supply at Metals Focus, went on to explain that Mexico, Peru and China accounted for 52% of global mined silver output in 2019. This year, mines in all three countries were temporarily suspended due to COVID-19 restrictions, with Peru in particular heavily impacted, said Webb. As a result, we're expecting mined silver supply to decline by 6.3% year on year, a greater drop than for gold. Silver Outlook 2021, physical and ETP demand to remain high. The volatility that punctuated 2020 added tailwinds to the precious metal sector, pushing both gold and silver significantly higher. Investors look to gold and silver as safe havens and guards against inflation. Physical silver investment is projected to reach a 5-year high this year, accounting for 236.8 million ounces. The US saw the greatest increase, with investment demand climbing 62%. The exchange-traded product space is also on track to register a significant uptick. ETPs established a record this year, an increase of about 350 million ounces, said Michael Di Rienzo, director of the Silver Institute. So we've comfortably surpassed 1 billion ounces in ETPs. I think this is a reflection of investors' portfolio diversification getting into hard assets like silver. The rise in investment purchases will help offset declines in jewellery and industrial demand, both of which were deeply impacted by COVID-19 in March and April. Although demand has recovered since that, most areas are still on track for heavy full-year losses, states an interim silver market review from the Silver Institute and Metals Focus. The joint overview goes on to note that industrial fabrication demand is expected to fall 9% this year to 466 million ounces. The photovoltaic segment is forecast to dip 11% in 2020. This reflects the impact of lockdown restrictions, with supply chains heavily disrupted, end users adopting an increasingly cautious approach to inventory replenishment, and factories facing labour supply problems, reads the report. The pervasive toll of COVID-19 will shrink global GDP by 4.4%. However, much of that will be reversed with rampant growth in 2021, according to Focus Economics. Global economic growth is projected to rebound strongly in 2021 as major economies reopen and international trade picks up, the firm states in a 2021 Outlook report. However, the recovery is set to be uneven until a vaccine is widely available, with restrictions likely to be reimposed in response to potential further waves of the virus. That uncertainty will support a higher silver price, which, as Ralph Aldis of US Global Investors explained, also positions the white metal to continue to outpace gold. I do kind of expect silver to remain more volatile than gold, principally because there's so few mines that produce silver as their primary product, and there's just a few companies that actually focus on silver, he explained to the Investing News Network. The price of silver has already outperformed the yellow metal in 2020, rising roughly 30% year to date, compared to gold's 17%. Historically, silver often doubles or triples the price action of gold. When you're dealing with a real bull market in precious metals, silver's typically at 3 times the price move to gold, said Aldis. That's fairly common because of reduced opportunity to actually invest in silver. That just keeps it that more volatile. Narrow investment opportunities paired with retail and institutional investor interest are expected to sustain silver ETP and physical growth into 2021. The Silver Institute does think that the future is bright for silver, not only bars and coins on the physical side, but also for ETP investment, said Durenso. Silver outlook companies optimistic too. In a survey of resource-focused companies, 14 of which have honed their efforts on precious metals, INN found that broadly the companies anticipate that 2021 will be a better market for gold and silver, with 12 projecting marked improvements. Additionally, several participants were pleasantly surprised by the price action the sister metals experienced in 2020. The general consensus in the space is that US stimulus and lasting COVID-19 effects will play a role in the metal's performance over the next 12 months. Of the survey respondents, 4 have silver-focused exploration projects. Alianza Minerals, Sentinel Resources, Silver Viper Minerals, and Belcara Group, a management firm representing 3 junior companies including Silver Viper. I think, with the stimulus packages in the US, that prices are going to rise based on the US dollar being devalued, said Stephen Cope, President and CEO of Silver Viper. I also think that as vaccines become available and the lockdowns end, investors will start to redeploy capital into the markets. This sentiment was echoed by Jason Weber, Allianz's CEO, Director and President. I think that the amount of stimulus relating to COVID-19 pandemic is only positive for gold and silver, he said. The full effects of COVID-19 may be delayed, as too will be the benefits of a higher price point for producers. Even though silver hit a 7-year high in 2020, that doesn't make up for production disruptions. Higher silver prices have had little effect on production and certainly not enough to offset the impact of lockdowns. Generally, mines cannot be reactive to metal prices in the short term, said Webb, who pointed out that mine plans are developed years in advance, and are not easily changed. Certainly, a small degree of flexibility is possible to target higher silver grade materials or to process stockpiled material that would be uneconomic at lower prices. However, this activity is limited and will not materially impact global production in the short term. Silver Outlook 2021, silver price to hit $30. For 2021, Metals Focus is forecasting added investment flows driven by positive spillovers from gold and the white metals high beta. The metals consultancy anticipates that silver will trade well above the $30 level, with its annual average rising by 40%. Looking at silver's key fundamentals, a recovery in mine production and scrap will see global supply reach a 7-year high, reads its Precious Metals Review. The recovery in silver industrial application is expected to outpace global GDP growth, with offtake in 2021 almost matching the 2019 total. For US global investors oldies, silver's use in the burgeoning clean energy sector is exciting, especially in relation to green hydrogen, which requires massive amounts of electricity to produce. If that electricity is to be generated cleanly, then solar will be and play a key role, making photovoltaics using silver important. I think the bigger trend really is just going to be just talking about reducing global greenhouse emissions, and it's going to have to be accomplished by more power generation using silver, said the portfolio manager. That's going to be the biggest key in terms of creating the larger scale demand for silver. You know, it's going to be stronger than the exchange-traded funds, I would think. Aldi's also listed some companies with a high focus on silver that investors should keep in mind. Now, over the Christmas period, we shall be publishing our view of where we expect silver prices to rise to and how they will end 2021. But meanwhile, we shall continue to share the views of other institutions, and so far, apart from the normal pumpers, to be frank, we're genuinely finding it difficult to come up with any major serious institution suggesting $50 or $100 silver for 2021. But we shall nevertheless look out for one and, of course, share those more sober forecasts by regulated, in some cases, and institutional organizations. It's very interesting to compare their thoughts. But that said, what is the most important, of course, is what do you think? Because it is you who will ultimately be making the investment decisions. Do you agree that silver will average just $30 in 2021, which suggests to us that silver's then fall unlikely to rise much above the late 30s during the course of the year? We'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, kindly subscribe to the channel. Not forgetting to press the bell sign so that you're notified of our videos as and when they're published. And also yesterday, we placed a Brexit update on the Richard and Greg channel if you haven't had a chance to look at that. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.